7:05. You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only financial news and talk. And live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries. As we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media, this is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember that number comes to me, easy for me to say, another day of tongue-tied. Just remember that number comes to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you, even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And, you know, we celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. We're not going to be able to do anything today other than celebrate. We've got American Business Women's Day, Car Free Day, Dear Diary Day. I don't know about that. National Centenarians Day. Elephant Appreciation Day, National Girls Night Out.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Hobbit Day, Ice Cream Cone Day. I like that one. Legwear Day. Shorts for me, please. National Voter Registration Day. How about let's just go with a simple White Chocolate Day. I like that one. White Chocolate Day. So, okay, we'll go with that, National White Chocolate Day. Let's take a look and see what the markets are doing. We do that on a regular basis for you right here on Ron Siegel Radio. Dow Jones Industrial Average now down 23.15. S&P 500 mixed, it's up 10.52. We're looking at the NASDAQ up 55 right now. NASDAQ is up 55. Gold, yeah, that's the hedge against inflation, most people seem to think. So gold is up a little bit, and we're looking at oil prices. They are down, but what does that mean for you? Well, Venezuela, we are still at 322.6, about 2 cents a gallon cheaper than Hawaii. That's the only place in the country that is more expensive than Venezuela to get your gasoline. 218.3 is the national average. Mississippi, well, maybe, yeah, Mississippi's still the cheapest, 185.1. So Mississippi's under $2. We're over $3. Guess what? We voted for it. As former President Obama said, elections, they have consequences. And boy, oh boy, are we finding that out right now. Consequences of elections. It fascinates me watching what's going on in our country right now, because we've gone through almost 4 years of the Democrats not wanting to do anything or help in any way with this president, and now they're surprised that the Republicans aren't going to listen to them when it comes to replacing Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg in the 11th hour. Does that surprise anybody after the amazing cooperation that the president has had and from the Democrats in his first term? Yeah, I said it, his first term before he gets reelected. Kind of guess that that's going to happen. I'm worried about Joe Biden. Now, here's the issue. Joe Biden is, he doesn't seem to have a grasp on what's going on. Yesterday, did you hear it? Was it yesterday, the day before? where he told us 200 million Americans have died from, but before he finishes his speech, 200 million Americans will have died from coronavirus. That would be like 1 out of every 3 Americans. That means like everybody would have had someone in their household that would have died, God forbid. Well, we just barely went over 200,000. No, I'm not making light of the fact that 200,000 people is a lot of people, and we feel for every one of them, every one of their families. But my point is I don't believe that former Vice President Biden has a handle on what he's saying right now. And is that the one that you want to be carrying around the nuclear codes? Is somebody that really doesn't know what's going on in the world, that doesn't have that handle? I just question that. You tell me your thoughts. Moving right along, let's see what else is going on in the marketplace today. I have seen some interesting stories. Let's see, Equinox party. So today is that Equinox. Ruth Bader Ginsburg will lie in repose at the Supreme Court tomorrow and Thursday. Officials announced with a modified ceremony due to the pandemic. Ginsburg's casket will be stationed under the building's massive portico both days, allowing the public to pay respects outdoors. She'll then lie in state in the U.S. Capitol Friday, becoming the first woman to receive the honor. Ginsburg will be buried next week, Arlington National Cemetery, next to her husband, Martin. President Trump said yesterday he would put forth a nominee by Friday or Saturday. Today he narrowed that down. It will be coming out to us Saturday. He did meet with prospective, or one of the I guess candidate is the right word, Amy Coney Barrett. She's a appeals court judge in the 7th Circuit, so he did meet with her in the last few days, see what happens there. Moving right along, health officials in the United Kingdom warned yesterday that absent new preventative measures, new cases of the coronavirus could rise to almost 50,000 per day by mid-October. The country reported almost 4,000 cases Sunday. Doctors now have a positive spin on this because they say, yes, indeed, there are a lot of cases, but no, there are not as many hospitalizations and not nearly as many deaths as there had been. So that is some good news out of a bad situation. Again, we talked about the 200,000 in America. Let's see what else is going on in our daily briefing. Hey, how about the Emmy Awards? Did you see that the other day? Yeah, no one else did either. TV ratings hit an all-time low as 6.1 million watched Sunday's ceremony, down 12% from last year's previous low. So last year was the all-time low and surpassed down 12% this year. Got to figure that there's a lot of people that are getting turned off by all of the vitriol from actors and actresses. They don't want to hear it, right? They have their right to say whatever they want to say, free speech in America. They have their right to put down the president, put down the country, put down police, put down everything. But the American people also have the right to say, you know something? We don't want to turn out to listen to your opinion. We're not interested in your opinion. So we're just seeing that that's coming out right now. New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft likely to have his soliciting sex charges dropped over lack of evidence. Really? Surprise. Amazing. We couldn't see that one coming from a mile away. How about this one? I saw this yesterday. Head coaches in the National Football League, 3 of them were charged or fined $100,000 each. Their teams were fined $250,000 each for not wearing their masks according to the rules on the sidelines of the football games. Amazing. House lawmakers are introducing a stopgap funding bill to keep the government open through December 11th. Senate's unlikely to support. End of the month funding showdown is more likely. The Justice Department threatens to withhold federal funds from anarchist cities. So there are some cities, the Justice Department says, why send money there if you're not using it for what the money was intended for? That's an interesting commentary. I get it. If the federal government is saying, we're going to send you money to pay for law enforcement and you're not going to use it for law enforcement, well then why send the money? New York City, Portland, Seattle, those are on the list of anarchist cities that the Trump officials say have failed to stem crime linked to summer of protests. Interesting right there. So the president came out with a memo threatening to do it. The Justice Department follows through on what the president says is going to happen, and people are surprised. If you can say one thing about this administration, and you can say a lot good, you can say a lot bad, you have your own opinions, the president has done what he says he was going to do. You may not like what he has said. You may not like the way he has said it. Many people don't. But that which he said he was going to do, he's really followed through on in a lot of instances. And there's still some that many of us think should be taken care of, something that we think should be addressed that have not been addressed. But we're going to continue watching and seeing what the president has to say about some of these issues. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, we have got a packed broadcast for you today. We're going to be covering a whole lot of good stuff. So we'll talk a little bit about a lot of things. We've got the cost of a home is far more important than the price. When is the best time of year to buy a home? 6 types of COVID-19 scams to watch out for, all that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel, and if you miss any part of our broadcast. Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams, or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Did you know that banks and credit bureaus are rewarded financially if you have bad credit? And the worse your credit score is, the more money they can make off of you? How does that make you feel, knowing that banks are getting rich off of your hard-earned money? How does it make you feel, knowing that if a bank or a credit bureau makes a mistake on your credit report, they benefit from it and it hurts you? The Fair Credit Report Act of 1971 requires banks and credit bureaus to report only accurate information, and nearly 100% of all credit reports are inaccurate. If you're sick and tired of being broke and tired of being robbed by the banks, you owe it to yourself and to your family to call Rondi. Rondi is a FICO-certified credit professional and has helped thousands of people just like you get out of debt and establish great credit. Rondi's number is 855-608-1990. Again, that's 855-608-1990. Or visit creditsanitizer.com. Again, that website is creditsanitizer.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018699452.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission, lending partners will give a credit at closing, the title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Gold Star Mortgage. When you're ready for that next mortgage, Gold Star's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990. Let's take a look at what the markets are doing now. Dow Jones now down 26.81. It just so you know, when you hear somebody talk about the Dow Jones Industrial Average and they say down 26.81, it's not $26.81. It's 26.81. Those are points because it has to do with the way the average is weighted, so it's not a dollar issue. The NASDAQ up 56.39, S&P 500 up 10.61. 10-year Treasury is flat this morning, unchanged from yesterday. The mortgage-backed securities are up just a little bit, up about 5 basis points, a little bit better than yesterday. So we got some good stuff going on there. That means interest rates are down ever so slightly. Stocks are mixed, as I shared with you. Mortgage bonds a little bit better. Existing home sales, which measures closings on existing homes, were up 2.5% in August because these are closings. It likely represents buyers shopping for homes in June and July. Year-over-year sales are up 10.5%, which is the highest pace since 2006, when there were twice as many homes for sale. This just speaks to the strength of the current housing market. Amazing when you have low inventory and you're still getting year-over-year sales being up that high, even with all the challenges of seeing a piece of property. Inventory remained tight. There were only 1.49 million units for sale in August, down 19% year-over-year. If there were more homes for sale, sales would have been even higher. The median home price was reported at $310,600, up 11.4%. This does not mean homes are not affordable. It just means the middle price home sold was $310,600, meaning half the homes sold were above that price, half the homes sold were below that price. So the idea there is the mix of properties can have a lot to do with something like that. First-time home buyers made up 33% of home sales, down from 34%, but still very, very strong. Even with all the strong housing data we have been seeing, there are still naysayers out there. There was an article calling for another housing bubble just this week. Within the article, delinquency rates in cities were cited. They're choosing the weakest segment of the market as people are leaving cities for more room, and that does include those in forbearance. We know now the forbearance period can be tacked onto the mortgage. So this should not be too bad of a burden. Also, homeowners that have a ton of equity in their homes, they're going to be able to do other things. Yesterday, CoreLogic released their home equity report showing homeowners with mortgages, which makes up roughly 63% of all properties, means 37% of properties are owned with no mortgage, saw their equity increase by 6.6% year over year. Homeowners gained approximately $9,800 in equity during last year. Now remember, when you look at 6.6% and that $9,800 number, that has to do with a national number. In California, we're going to be higher than that. We're about $12,000 extra equity. And again, that's a number that goes around the entire state, not just in any one particular city. Homeowners with negative equity decreased from 3.8% of mortgaged properties last year to 3.2%. The August Cass Freight Index came out yesterday showing that shipments fell 7.6% year over year, which was an improvement from the negative 13.1% last month. Month over month, the index was up 8%. Cass Freight said this supports that we have heard from public carriers across all modes, and we believe the trend of better has continued here in September. Expect the Cass Index to move back closer to year-ago levels in the coming months. Although we think it will stay in negative territory until 2021, all signs point to an improving economy, and goods movement is getting better every month. This rebuild and need for shipping it across the world is also reflected in sharply higher shipping rates across all modes. Truckstop.com said in a report that trucking spot rates are up 19% year over year. Cargo rates via ship are also up sharply, and we know FedEx and UPS are implementing surcharges. This is part of the reason we think inflation can continue to creep up, and if that were to occur, mortgage rates would move a little bit higher. So just a little bit of good information there. Now, Cass Freight Index, we've talked about this report in the past, and I like to share the data behind it for you, because when you're talking about freight, that's a very, very early, very, very leading indicator of what's happening in the marketplace. When you're talking about what's going on with the freight in the world, we're just hearing that's the number that people, that's the precursor. Businesses are needing to buy product. Why would they need to buy product? Well, the only need for buying product is if it's moving out, if they're short. Now, we know that the businesses were short for quite a while because they were not replenishing in the early stages of the pandemic, when no one knew how long we would be quarantined, how long we would be on house arrest, which, by the way, is probably unconstitutional. But no one knew those things, so businesses stopped buying. Now their shelves are empty. We know that. We've seen when you go to try and buy certain products at the stores that they're not there. Well, the Cass Index had been dropping as it was, and then it really plummeted. We talked about that being down 13.1%. Well, when you start seeing the Cass Index start jumping, and especially when you see ocean freight increasing, that's telling us that domestic businesses are placing orders with either directly overseas with their vendors or through their distributors, who are then placing orders overseas. It's a chain effect. So you all know when you watch the Cass Freight Index, which very, very few people do, you know when you see that index moving one way or the other, that, a few months out you're going to see the results of that. So it's a very, very early indicator, very, very leading indicator. Fed Chair Jerome Powell testifying today in front of the House Financial Services Committee. It's oversight of the Treasury Department and the Federal Reserve's pandemic response. They're going to be looking at that. Probably be a big time dog and pony show. I mean, when you go into front of Congress, House, or Senate, everybody has to try and make their points, get their sound bites in instead of getting real information out to the people anymore. I don't know why the chairman and the ranking member of these committees don't set some guidelines as to what can and cannot be done. I mean, yet each member generally has like 5 minutes to make of questioning. Well, they use 4.5 minutes of a speech and then give the respondent a half a minute. So why are they there? Why don't you just put a picture of the respondent there, and then you can get away from all this other garbage, the dog and pony show that's going on. I don't get it. I mean, it would be a whole lot easier if they just did it that way, because that's what's going on now. That the chair people could get together and just say, something, we're not going to allow this anymore. If you want to do a speech, go out and do a speech, or you can do it on the floor of the House or of the Senate when the full chamber is not there. No one would watch anyway. And if you want to have questions, well, you've got to have at least 4 questions during a session, a 5-minute period. That way you limit the amount of time leading up to the question. You get 10 or 15, 20 seconds to ask the question. Give the respondent 20, 30, 40 seconds to respond to the question. And you can actually learn something. But for the most part, we don't get to learn anything when we listen to some of these different the hearings. Thus, many, many people just tune them out anymore, which is a shame, because we really want to get that information. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, got a lot of great information that we are going to share with you. The cost of a home, far more important than the price. When is the best time of year to buy a home? Interesting. Is there a best time? Types of COVID-19 scams to watch out for. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Siegel Lending Team offers you buying power. Let's say you can afford a monthly mortgage payment, including principal and interest, of around $1,900. With today's rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage of 3.75%, APR 3.85%, that payment could support a $416,000 mortgage. But if you wait and rates tick up to around 6.5%, which is roughly the average home mortgage rate over the past 30 years, that same $1,900 mortgage payment, including principal and interest, may only be able to support a $314,000 mortgage. That's over $100,000 worth of home you're missing out on by waiting. That's buying power. All you need to do to get started is reach out to the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance. Call us for full details. 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or SiegelLendingTeam.com. Equal housing lender, licensed under NMLS number 217037.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you interest only high risk and low 3s. The Siegel Lending Team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel Lending Team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Homeowners that are 62 and older are about to find out a great way to live a better retirement. It's called a reverse mortgage, and SLT can help you learn more. Call the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990 right now to receive your free booklet with no obligation. It answers questions like how a reverse mortgage works, how much you qualify for, the ways to receive your money, and more. When you call the experts at Siegel Lending Team today, you'll learn the benefits of a government-insured reverse mortgage, how it will eliminate your monthly mortgage payments, and give you tax-free cash from the equity in your home. Here's the best part, you still own your home. Now is the best time to take control of your retirement. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 to get your free brochure. Call today or visit our website at SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or simply call 800-306-1990.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text SLT Home Digest, SLT Home Digest to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. The digest actually tells you what the county recorder knows about your property. It tells you what the market believes about your property. Great information, monthly delivery, totally free. What more could you ask for? Cost of a home is far more important than the price of the home. Housing inventory is at an all-time low. There are 39% fewer homes for sale today than at this time last year, and buyer demand continues to set records. Zillow's got that reported. I quote, newly pending sales are up 25.5% compared to the same week last year. The highest year-over-year increase in the weekly Zillow database, unquote. Whenever there is a shortage in supply of an item that's in high demand, the price of that item increases. That's exactly what's happening in the real estate market right now. CoreLogic's latest home price index report that values have increased by 5.5% over last year. This is great news if you're planning to sell your house. On the other hand, as either a first-time or repeat buyer, this may instead seem like troubling news. However, purchasers should realize that the price of a house is not as important as the cost. Let's break it down. There are several factors that influence the cost of a home. The two major ones are the price of the home and the interest rate at which a buyer can borrow the funds necessary to purchase the home. Last week, Freddie Mac announced that the average interest rate for a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage was 2.87%. At this time last year, the rate was 3.73%. Let's use an example to see how that difference impacts the true cost of a home. And I'm going to share that with you if you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, RonSiegelRadio.com, or if you're on the AM 1490 ABC News and Talk KMET video link, you can see the data that I'm sharing right now. Otherwise, I'll give you the bird's eye view, as we've heard that before. So how will your monthly mortgage payment change based on today's lower mortgage rates? So we look at the difference in a monthly mortgage. I'm going to use a mortgage amount of last year, $250,000, because we have to start with a number. Then we're going to use last year's interest rate of 3.73%. That gives you a mortgage payment, principal and interest, of $1,155. Now remember, for all you compliance people out there, these are Freddie Mac weekly mortgage rates. We're not using anybody's individual rate. This is just going off of the generic Freddie Mac number. Today, that $250,000 mortgage using the same appreciation levels, $263,750. Today's interest rate, 2.87. That's a payment of $1,094. So you get a larger mortgage amount with a lower payment. Think about that. Maybe you can buy more house and spend less, or you can spend the same and get even more house. That's a savings, $61 a month, which adds up to $732. Maybe you don't think $732 sounds like a lot until you say that's almost $22,000 over the life of the loan. Even though home values are appreciated, it's a great time to buy a home because mortgage rates are at historic lows. That is the Real-Time Real Estate segment, again brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text SLT Home Digest to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. So think about this one. When is the best time of the year to buy a house? Do you think there is a best time? Well, nowadays you get statistics for everything, right? I mean, you got a statistic. I'm not going to go there. If you're like most potential home buyers hoping to find your dream home for the right price, then you're probably thinking, when is the best time of year to buy a house? Traditionally, spring is the most popular time of the year to buy a home. But that may not necessarily be the quote-unquote sweet spot. Here's what you need to know about the housing market, mortgage rates, pricing trends, and more, including the best time of year to buy a house according to experts. Although peak inventory periods may vary by location, generally more homes are on the market in March, April, and May. That's because usually a wave of buyers hit the market after hibernation during the winter months, and sellers list their homes to take advantage of that demand, meaning spring is best season to purchase a house if you want to get a larger selection of homes. What is the best month to buy a house? Spring isn't the best time of year to nab a deal, however. According to a comprehensive 2015 study by RealtyTrack, 32 million sales of single-family homes and condos between 2000 and 2015, buyers typically snag the best deals in October, where the average sales price was 2.6% below the market value of homes sold. If saving money is your goal, finding a house in the winter may be best. Following October, the best months to purchase a home to get a lower sale price. Obviously, I just told you October is number 1, February is number 2, July is number 3, December is number 4, January is number 5. The sweet spot if you want a healthy supply of homes and affordable home prices, according to Zillow analysis of 2016 listings and home sales, it's November where just 15% of homes sold above asking price and inventory levels were still strong. When you're ready to buy, you just give us a call. If you go to mysocallender.com, mysocallender.com gives you some great tools for buying a home. What's the worst month to buy a house? The study found the worst month to purchase a home was April, when buyers purchased at an average premium of 1.2% above market value. No matter what time of year you buy a house, you want to make sure you're getting the best mortgage rate and terms that you can qualify for. Again, mysocallender.com has some great information for you there. What credit score do you need to buy a house? Well, if you're looking to lock in a low rate, let's talk about it. Government-sponsored mortgage giant Freddie Mac's primary mortgage market survey put 30-year fixed-rate mortgages 2.86 with a 0.8 discount points paid for the week of September 10. Mortgages have dropped below 3% for the first time ever the week ending July 16. Caveat, homes are getting more expensive. In July, the median sales price of existing homes jumped 8.5% year over year to $304. I just told you that they're $310 now, according to data from the National Association of Realtors. Meanwhile, the median sales price of homes in June hit $329,200, up 5.6 from last year. This is according to the U.S. Census Bureau. Just throwing that out there for you, give you a little bit of data there, so you can actually make the best decisions for you and for your family. How do you make great decisions when you don't have the data to make it? Thought I'd throw that out. We get a lot of calls, or we like to try and give a lot of information on scams. I hear all kinds of questions about scams all the time. So I thought I'd share this one with you. COVID-19 scams, yeah, they're on the rise. In a recent webinar that I saw, we learned that 31% of participants had received a communication that looks like a COVID-19 scam in the prior 30 days. So it's taken some unexpected turns, like the surge of pet adoption scams. Criminals prey on the desire to adopt a furry friend while under quarantine. There are other kinds of fraud that we have come to know and expect from criminals. So at FICO, and I get a lot of my data from myfico.com, part of the core mission is to keep people safe from fraud. So we like to share a few of them. Here's common types of fraud to watch out for. Number one, this is phishing. That's phishing. With phishing, bad actors use malicious emails that are designed as legitimate to trick people into providing sensitive information or taking potentially dangerous action. Could take the form of an email that appears to be from a well-known company like your bank. I've seen them from UPS. I've seen them from FedEx. May ask you to open an attachment with malicious software or call a fake customer service number. There's also a spear phishing, where fraudsters perform a very targeted attack on a research person or organization. For example, you may receive an email that appears to be from a family member requesting that you transfer money right away. I've been getting a lot of a simple one. I think it's been by text lately. This is your last opportunity to get this lost parcel. I don't have a lost parcel. And if I do, someone is going to call me, or I'm going to be missing something. I did not open it. I do not plan to open it. Don't you either. Number two is vishing. Be like Victor, I-S-H-I-N-G. It's like phishing, but over the phone. Criminals take the same strategy and deploy it via phone calls. These attacks have become more sophisticated over the years. In one recent example, a criminal impersonated the leader of a UK-based energy firm using voice-generating AI software to convince a chief executive to wire $243,000. Yeah, not a good idea, and I don't think I'd want that CEO to be telling us who he is. May not be having great publicity right now. Number three is smishing, S-M-I-S-H-I-N-G, similar to phishing, but is executed through text messages, like SMS. Earlier this year, many received a text message that they thought was from FedEx, but instead it came from bad actors directing recipients to enter credit card information, which led to being billed $98.95 every single month. Why in the world would you put your credit card information into a site that you don't know? Number four, pretexting. That entails someone contacting you and lying about who they are to trick you into giving them something they want. Beware of people claiming to be part of reputable organizations like research firms or government agencies. asking you for personal information like bank card numbers or your social security number. Number 5, fake profiles. There are fake profiles being set up on social media, often with connections you recognize that will contact you and attempt to trick you into taking an action that benefits them. After making it appear that they know you, a fraudster may message you asking for money or personal information on social media. This can also take shape as a romance scam, where the criminal creates an enticing fake profile and builds a relationship with their unsuspecting victim. Number 6, quid pro quo. These scams offer a benefit to the victim in exchange for information. In one example of this attack, criminals impersonate the U.S. Social Security Administration and ask for confirmation of a person's social security number to ensure records are accurate due to computer problems. The story a scam artist weaves can be a lot less complex. Studies have shown that people have given away their passwords for small gifts, such as chocolate, which is a trick fraudsters also employ. How do you protect yourself then? Always confirm requests through another channel that you know is legitimate. Fraudsters create a sense of urgency so that you won't have time to think about your response or check it out. There is typically a time-sensitive request that immediately needs you to take some type of action. For example, this could be a message from your boss that says if you don't wire funds to a client in the next hour, an important account will be lost. Watch out for fun requests for information. Criminals have gotten savvier and have created ways to make their information gathering seem like a fun activity. This sometimes takes the form of an online game or quiz that asks for information. The same kind of information can also be found on identity verification questions. You may think you would fall for this, but have you ever taken an online quiz that asks what your favorite sport team is? Where you vacationed at the turn of the new year? I'm guessing if you haven't taken one, you've at least seen them online. Be cautious about the information you share online. Fraudsters can use the information you free Shirley to take over your identity or use it to aid them in convincing you that they are someone close to you. Post only information you're comfortable with the entire world having access to, and be especially guarded. Watch out. Be careful. Do your research. If you're skeptical about a communication you receive, use your favorite search engine to search relevant terms. Depending on the situation, you could search for the company, product, situation, plus terms like review or scam or complaint. See what others are saying. For instance, if you receive a call from the IRS, you could use the search term IRS scam or IRS scams with the phone number you received the call from to see if they scam. IRS doesn't call. They're going to send you a message, a letter that tells you to call them. Use the technology to monitor your bank accounts. Use a different password for every account and enable multi-factor authentication where available. And if you use sports teams, like there are some that will ask what's your favorite sports team as one of the verification words. Well, don't give that information out in a online quiz. What does anybody need that for? What to do if you've been a victim? Don't panic. It can be extremely distressing to be a victim of a scam. Try to remain calm. Take steps to stop the fraudster in their tracks and find out if any remediation is available. Report the scam immediately. People sometimes feel hesitant to report a scam because they feel embarrassed about being taken advantage of. The sooner the scam is reported, the sooner steps can be taken to reduce the damage and stop it from happening to other people. Gather any relevant documents, which could include emails, receipts, and phone numbers that will help you file a report. Report the scam to your bank and easy for me to say, relevant government authorities. If you are in the U.S., use the resources to identify where you should report the scam. Otherwise, search online to find the best resources for your location. As always, I say, monitor your credit. That would be myfico.com is my favorite source for that. If you need any more information on this, give me a call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, I'm going to come back in just a minute. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. If you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number one on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Most businesses struggle to get the online reviews they need to get a competitive edge over their competition. Rex is a brand new technology that uses text messages to direct happy clients to your online review sites, Zillow, Google, Facebook, and Yelp, and unhappy clients to a private survey, so businesses can win more customers. Try Rex today by going to www.meetrex.com.
Are you currently renting a home? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
You have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership. What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel Lending Team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call the Ron Siegel team at 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send you a no-obligation real estate plan. You be the judge if this is right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to REAP@RonSiegelRadio.com or call today. Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990.
Exchange and outrageous. Licensed by the California DOC and BRENMLS 217037 and 145502 and Cal BRE 01869452 and 1866775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by MySoCalLender.com. MySoCalLender.com. They've got great information right there for you. All of it is free. You have the right. 5 credit rights consumers should know about is the subject of our Your Credit Matters segment today. Credit industry has a few major players, from credit card issuers to lenders to credit bureaus. Knowing your credit rights empowers you to take control of your credit and handle any issues efficiently. A few major laws that affect your credit life include the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, Truth in Lending Act, and the Equal Credit Opportunity Act. Here are 5 important rights granted to you by those laws. Number 1, the right to know what's in your credit file. Credit reports help financial businesses make more informed lending decisions. Your credit details are not a secret. The Fair Credit Reporting Act, FCRA, gives you the right to request your credit report. That includes your reports from major credit bureaus as well as smaller specialized credit reporting agencies. Previously, we've been allowed to access a free credit report every 12 months from each of the credit bureaus through annualcreditreport.com. In response to the COVID-19 pandemic, this annual access has been expanded to a weekly free credit report through April 2021, free weekly. Outside of your free credit reports, you can purchase your credit bureau reports along with your FICO scores through myfico.com. That's my favorite source for these things. Credit Karma, Credit Sesame. Those are credit scores. They are not FICO scores. They're really what's called a Vantage score. They try to mimic FICO, but it's not a FICO score, so it's not exactly the same things. Number 2, the right to an accurate, timely credit report. The Fair Credit Reporting Act acknowledges the need for accurate consumer credit information for the banking system to work smoothly. And so the law gives consumers the right to have inaccurate, incomplete, and outdated information removed from their credit reports. Outdated information could be bad debts that are more than 7 years old, or bankruptcies that are more than 7 or 10 years old, depending on the type of bankruptcy. If you spot errors or old information on your credit report, you can dispute it with the credit bureau reporting the error. After investigating your dispute, the credit bureau will either update your credit report or send a letter explaining that the creditor verified the information. You could follow up with a dispute to the company who provided the information if your credit bureau dispute was unsuccessful. Number 3, the right to have third-party collection agencies report only validated debts. The Fair Debt Collection Practices Act primarily guides how third-party collection agencies should contact consumers, but also prevents collectors from reporting unverified debts. You are allowed to request debt validation from third-party collection agencies to verify the debt is yours, the amount is correct, and the collector has the right to collect it. Debt collectors who don't provide proof after you've requested validation are not allowed to collect on those debts any further or report them to a credit bureau. The right to know how much your credit costs. The Truth in Lending Act, TILA, aims to ensure that consumers are treated fairly and are informed about the cost of financial products. Under the TILA, lenders and credit card issuers must lay out credit card costs in a way that's easy to understand before you agree to a credit card or loan. Note that the TILA doesn't cap the amount of interest that can be charged. However, some state laws do limit interest on certain financial products. The law does require creditors to list cost details like interest rate and grace period on each billing statement. Additionally, your credit card issuer must make your credit card agreement available upon request. Number 5, the right to equal credit access. Equal Credit Opportunity Act was designed to ensure that consumers have equal access to credit. More specifically, the law restricts lenders and credit card issuers from using certain information to qualify you for a loan. This includes race, color, religion, marital status, whether you receive public assistance, and age. However, note that age is considered when you're legally too young to sign a contract. Using only financial information to approve applicants helps prevent discrimination. And it is fascinating. I'll give you a little story. As I was doing on our private client side, we were helping a gentleman who is in his mid-90s get a loan. And the loan was a 30-year loan for a residence. And we kind of chuckled because what do you think the odds are of a 90-year-old individual paying off a 30-year loan? That means at the termination of the loan, when it came mature, he's going to be 120 years old. Bottom line is there was no option. You can't discriminate based on age other than if someone's under 18 where they're not legally allowed to enter into a contract. It was fascinating that is the case, but be aware that's the law, right? So even though it does not make sense to give somebody that's 90 years old a 30-year loan, well, that's just the way it is. So that's just a little bit of the information there for you. I'm going to try and give you a little bit more information on some questions about collections. As we don't have a whole lot of time here this morning, I want to give you just a little bit. So what is a third-party collection? That's something that's a little different than what we hear most of the time. Third-party collections are collection efforts made by a collection agency outside of the original crediting company. First-party or internal collections is when the lender or company uses its employees to collect unpaid accounts. Third-party collections is when they sell it to a collection company. Now, be aware that if a company sells your document or your loan to a third party, you have to follow all the laws. The third party has to follow all the laws. And many times they're going to be a little bit more aggressive. They're going to do some things that maybe your original company wouldn't have done, but that's just the nature of that beast. If you have any questions about any of these things, give me a call, 800-306-1990. You can always reach out to me on any of the socials or Ron at ronsiegelradio.com. As always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to John and Sean, who are engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
Things unsaid,